Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by JL Financial Solutions. If you're an Albertan looking to plan your financial future, you want someone you can trust. Together with Sun Life's estate and financial planning services, JL Financial Solutions will develop a plan you can be confident in to grow and protect your wealth. Give Jonathan Lambert and his team a call at 780-733-0910. Bring on the Stanley Cup Final. Never in doubt. Hey, Oiler fan, no stress at all tonight. You knew right from the get-go. Soon as they had that 2-0 lead, lock it in, right? Holy snap. What a finish. How about Stu Skinner? How about Connor McDavid? How about the penalty kill on the power play? Tons to discuss tonight as the Edmonton Oilers dispatch of the Dallas Stars. Jason Strudwick is standing by. Rob Brown will join us in a little bit here. And the voice of the fan, he's fired up tonight. Chris Sabunia is at the controls. He can barely contain himself. He's with you, folks. He's the fan along for the ride with you. And he is happy as can be. Coming at you from our long shot studio here in Sherwood Park. Remember, all Oiler game nights, and there will be more. All-you-can-eat wings, $25 a person. Visit Long Shots out here in Sherwood Park. Sherwood Buick GMC, they're fired up. Our proud title sponsor. Huge Oiler fans they are over there. Remember, they were awarded the General Motors President's Club Award last month, given to the top 50 GM dealerships in Canada. So if you or anybody you know needs a new vehicle, go see Phil. Just off Baseline Road on the way into Sherwood Park. Phil and his staff have everything you need. Fantastic vehicles, great sales process, great staff as well. I got the Sierra 1500 Elevation. Absolutely loving it. Okay, let's check in with not just Struds, but Zubie. Hop on in here, bud. Hop on in here. Emotional roller coaster for fans. Emotional roller coaster tonight. I'm actually going to give you the first word tonight as the voice of the fan.
Oh my goodness.
I know. How are you feeling, buddy?
Let's see if I can stammer my way through this. You know what? I always say whenever I'm traveling, whenever I'm going on a trip somewhere, I'm the guy who's not super excited till I get there or till the day I'm traveling. So I'm still looking ahead, but I'm excited. This is big. This is the team.
Stay focused, Zubie.
Getting over a hump that eluded them for a long time, but we can't over celebrate this. There is the bigger goal, and that put me over the moon. But I'm really excited. I feel like this team, that even with one big step still to take, I feel like this team has already exercised a lot of playoff demons of the recent past.
Never in doubt. Hey, Struds?
Ooh, there's some tightness. I'm not going to lie. Towards the end, the old pores of shipwreck rum got a little deeper, a little longer as I was enjoying this bad boy. But I think that there was one person in the world that decided this game was done. They were not going to game 7. It was 97. Actually, you know what? 2 guys and Skinner. Those 2 guys were the best players.
I was going to say, come on, Skinner.
Fair. Yeah.
Skinner,
And so
Skinner.
these 2 guys decided that wasn't going back. But, it was fun to watch. I want to feel stressed. I want to see the excitement in the fans. My phone's blowing up. Like, it was just, I love that whole experience because that's what makes it worth it. If anything was easy, no one appreciates anything easy. Right. But when you see how hard it is and the way they struggle, the fans, the ups and downs, that's why you love it. That's why you want to see it happen and be a part of it.
We got so much to talk about tonight, including the Florida Panthers, the Oilers' opponent, coming up in the Stanley Cup Final. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes, Struds. We'll talk Florida Edmonton in a bit here, but we got to talk about the series. We got to talk about this win. But just your quick thought. Just give people a little nibble. Just a little taste on how Struddy feels about the Florida Panthers and the Oilers.
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I was actually thinking this was going to happen. So I've kind of been looking into the Panthers and see what they're at. I've watched a lot of their games, especially against the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
I feel good about it.
Really?
I feel good about this matchup for the Oilers.
Okay.
I'm not sure I want to give it up just now unless you want me to, but I feel good about this matchup for the Oilers. It's not going to be easy. Like, it's not going to be easy, but it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be, but I do feel good about this matchup for the Oilers.
Zubie, as the voice of the fan, how do you feel about the Florida Panthers?
I feel good. I like, I don't know if you guys are going to get into this at all. I've mentioned it a couple of times. I was very surprised to see the TNT panel on their quick hits pick Florida, like, across the board. I just,
now that included Gretzky, didn't it?
It did. And he said, he kind of said, you know where my heart is, but right at the end, they were like, the music started playing. He's like, but I'm picking Florida. I was like, I was surprised. I didn't think that's where it was going.
Wow.
I feel good about the matchup. I think it's going to be really good hockey. I think it's a great I think there's lots of similarities here, and the Oilers have obviously the really high end talent. But I think there's going to be lots of speed and scoring, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'll have a different feel to it. There's going to be a lot more physicality coming at the Oilers from the Florida Panthers than there was from Dallas, especially from their forwards. Man, it's going to be something. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl on the stage that is the Stanley Cup Final with a bit of rest here too. This is key. Like, they don't play till Saturday. I think both of them are probably healthier than they were earlier in the playoffs, if you can believe that. So they're going to be rested. It's going to be a ton of fun. We are live streaming. Yeah,
anything on Kane? What's going on with Evander Kane?
Yeah, not sure. And I was live on SportsCenter, so I didn't hear all of Chris Knobloch. So I'm not sure if he addressed that or not. Obviously, we'll be all over that in the next couple of days, because as we saw a couple of years ago, Evander Kane is not Matthew Tkachuk's favorite player to play against, and he could play a pivotal role. He could play a pivotal role in this series. Davin says 100%. Knobber is optimistic. I think that's what he meant. Okay, we are live on Twitter and we are live on YouTube. We got great numbers already. We're over 700 people. Do us a favor. We want to try and get to 1,000 tonight. I don't know if we can get to 1,000 on YouTube. We've never busted through that with our live audience yet. So copy the link and send it to a friend. Tell them to hop in. Let's see if we can sort of jam up this YouTube stream even a little bit more and get more people on here. If we get there, great. If we don't, whatever, but it might be kind of fun. A fun way to finish off the conference final. Do us a favor as well. Hit the like button as much as you can. That helps us with our algorithm. So we got lots going on tonight, folks. Let's get to our breakdown, brought to you by Mr. Dirk. The iconic men's clothing store in Edmonton, founded in 1939, just off White Avenue and 102nd Street. Sterling and Dan and the crew, they'll be celebrating. Big-time Oiler fans. They love talking hockey while they're fitting you up to get you looking great. Awesome casual stuff for your day-to-day, but they've got some fantastic suits. And they know how to fit you, right? You go in, tell them what you're looking for. They know how to put the right stuff on you. It's a very personalized experience when you go there. I highly recommend it. So that is mrdirk.com is the website, and you can see everything that they have to offer. Okay, let's focus a little bit on the game that we watched tonight, Struds. So, we'll talk about kind of the last 50 minutes and what the hell happened there. But once again, in another game, the Oiler power play is able to give them a massive boost early on in a game, Struds. Now, is it just me, or is it two games where the first call was a little like, not a great call, and the Oilers pounce with the power play? What an incredible moment that Connor McDavid generated.
There's no doubt. I mean, it wasn't the greatest call, but either way, I think the power play penalties they're the same. I think for both teams, are really damn close. I think they both had the same number. So, anyways, you get the power play and they get organized and they give Connor the puck, and he's circling and he makes just an unbelievable all-world move. Now, we've seen him score some incredible goals, but we haven't seen him going around do it on a player like Heiskanen. To do that move, and then to pull it quickly across and go far side backhand off it. Like, it was an amazing goal. And you could tell, when he knows it's a big goal. His reaction was big, and he usually kind of pumps quick. He had his hand up in there and he was skating to the corner. Like, I could just feel like, I got this, boys. We got this. We just needed one to get going. But that the power play was huge tonight. And it's funny because, we talk about the different ways they've won games. penalty killing's been really good. We've seen the depth players chip in. We've seen them keep other team low scoring. We've seen some wins by the goalie, and we've seen quite a few by the power play. And the power play is kind of their killer, where the other ones just keep the things going while they're waiting for the power play to go.
Yeah, pretty electric. Just an electric moment from Connor McDavid. You wondered what he might be able to generate tonight, right? Just a huge stage and a huge moment. And he's been, he's been kept quiet in some of these moments. He hasn't done this in all of the clinching games or all of the, the big important ones. He's been finding his spots, and just a signature Connor McDavid moment that lit things up for this team. They end up getting another power play. And it's McDavid again with a nice play kind of between his legs at the blue line to pop the puck to a teammate, gets it back, sets it up. For the power play to get 2 here, Struds, after being basically dry for the rest of the series, heading other than the last couple of games, like that was a huge swing. And I'm sure we'll talk about the penalty kill next, because the combination of the power play waking up and the penalty kill being what it's been, unreal.
I love this play by Connor, right? He busts in, draws 2 players to him, and gives it to Hyman. And I'm telling you, I've never seen Hyman shoot from that far out. Like I don't think he knew he could shoot it that far.
Yeah.
And I'm not making fun of him, but think about it. How many times have we seen Hyman shoot from, I'm going to say just north of the hash marks? I think he shot it from. Rarely. You rarely see that from Zach. He had just about scored just a little shift. He walks out of the corner and kind of drives it around. It was weird. And you're never going to say, well, this guy's not going to shoot from there if you're a defender, but maybe they're not expecting that from Hyman. So I love that they scored again in a different way on the power play, right? Another different way to score with that guy scoring from that spot, because I don't think he scored from there all year. And if he did, maybe I'm wrong. He scored a bunch. But I don't think he did. So yeah, it's, I made the comment, I thought towards the end of the last series, the power play was cold. It doesn't mean they weren't getting chances, but they weren't burying. And that's when I believe was cold. I know Brownie's going to be mad at me, but they found a way to deliver when they needed him the most in these last 2 games. And again, they're finding different ways to win games. Yeah. And that is really, really important this time of year. Today wasn't beautiful, but they found a way to get it done.
Yeah, always get great contributions here on the stream from Shane Matheson. He brings up the point, Cody Ceci with the drive to the net to get the penalty call. Absolutely. Also want to send out a quick hi to Zach, who's hanging with some of my family right now. So thanks for tuning in, Zach. And to everybody, we're at 894. Come on, folks. Keep pushing. Send the link to a friend. Let's get this thing over 1,000.
Get it.
And we will ring the bell. Zubie, a little bit of different thought on the stream is what Gretzky actually said. How sure are you, Gretz?
Well, I'm trying to rewatch it right now, but it said something strange at the end. So maybe I thought Gretz said his heart was with the Oilers, but then right at the end he said something about the Panthers. So I'm rewatching it, but maybe I was wrong.
Okay, yeah, take a look. We want to make sure we get that one straight, because we don't want to accuse him of if it actually didn't happen. So we will sort it out. Okay, Struds, like I said tonight, I was doing Jay Onright's show, and the way I described it was after the Oilers were up 2-0, it's like they turned their sticks upside down, tried to play the rest of the game like that. It was that much of a swing in the other direction. But how much of that was like real Dallas danger, pushing, danger, and how much of that was the Oilers in a defensive shell, but largely doing an okay job of keeping them to the outside and not allowing a lot of it to be dangerous? I think there was probably quite a bit of both, I think.
Yeah. So I think that I'm not, it's you never want to just retreat into a shell when you have that much time left. But what happens is you get up like that, and now the other team starts pushing harder. And then as a player, you start thinking, I don't want to make a mistake. So you take less chances. And I know I've always trying to be risk adverse when I talk about the Oilers and what they're doing, but then it becomes where you're so non-risk averse that you're really not even getting up and forechecking. Like after into the second, third period, how many good offensive zone shifts we've seen from the Oilers?
Oh my God. They just stopped making plays, buddy. They weren't even trying to make plays.
Very few. And then I thought that they were even at times getting caught on the wrong side of the puck at their blue line and at the offensive blue line. And I've explained it many times, but basically when you're fighting for a puck, you want to make sure your body's between the man you're fighting with and your net. So if he does get possession, he's got to skate through you. And, you know, so I just call it between the man and the net. That's, you want to be above them all the time. And I thought often we saw them not in that position and they were getting some easier looks for no reason, that they just made little mistakes. So Connor kind of referenced it in the end. He's saying, you know what, we, for the most part, did a good job. There's some we'd like to have back. And I do believe that when they play the Florida, you have to be near perfect. And the good thing is they can watch the video. They won the game and they'll show some clips saying, hey, look at this, Jason Strudwick. You were, 5 feet out of the wrong place. You can add that in. So again, I don't think it's intentionally sit back. I think Dallas starts pushing. You kind of get not nervous, but really more tentative with the puck and with your forechecking. And now you're in your zone the whole time. But Stu Skinner had a good night and, multiple block shots by the Oilers, obviously.
All right, Zubie, hop back in here, buddy. You got to take your comeuppance.
I gotta apologize to the great one who we know is watching, is watching this.
Watcher, yes.
This is the last time Shogger ever lets me talk at the start of the thing. Everyone listening to, maybe I should edit it out. Everyone listening on audio form tomorrow is going to be, what the heck is this guy talking
we're
about?
leaving in. You're going to own it.
I'm going to own it.
You're going to sit in this one.
If I ever meet Gretz, it'll be a huge apology cake I'll have to bake for him. He said it would be great for hockey if Florida wins, but you know where my heart is. That was his kind of finish. He was chirping Biz earlier for the Dallas pick. So yeah, I should have. That's the non-journalist in me not double checking my own source, which was to rewatch the video.
Boba Fett says Zubie back to the small box.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Next time you'll get a chance in the big box now, buddy.
Oh man,
I don't know. All right,
I'll
good, pal.
Work my way back up.
Thank you for the clarification. Struds, we are remiss. We've flagged on the play for you and I, the offside whistle. We've gone too long without talking about Stuart Skinner. So the way I described it tonight, and I want to know if you agree with this, my headline on Stuart Skinner's performance tonight is reputation cleansing. I think there were lots of questions about Stuart Skinner heading into these playoffs, and rightfully so. I think he's had some bumps along the way. And there were still lots of doubts lingering, and rightfully so. I think since he got the net back, he has been very, very good, but he hasn't had to be fantastic. Tonight, Stuart Skinner had to be the Oilers' best player, and he absolutely was. And to me, there can be no question anymore as to Stuart Skinner's ability to meet a big playoff moment. And that, to me, is a cleansing of that reputation. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you very eloquent in your description of Stu. I just keep thinking back to, I think it was this summer or maybe at the end of last year when they lost to Vegas. Ken Holland saying, you know what, we're gonna try to add, but we're gonna need some internal development, right? We've seen that from Bouchard, has elevated his game to a place that I think people are floored. Holloway has become a regular in this lineup. Broberg has earned a spot in this lineup and showing well, skating well. And then Stu Skinner, of those, probably the most important. And I know what Bouchard and those other guys are doing, but probably the most important. And he went through what I'm guessing was really uncomfortable series against Vancouver, the way it kind of, he got away from it a little bit and then he was put back in. And I would have played Pickard. I've said it at the time, but they put him back in and well handled by this coach, and his coach has been repaid very well by Stu Skinner, because now the series is over. We can say Stu Skinner was a better goalie in this series, and no one, I don't believe anyone would have been saying that prior to the series. So well done from him. He should be very, very confident about himself. And tonight, when they needed him the most, he stood the tallest. He was fantastic tonight.
I was going to cut you off, because in the time you were talking, we got over 1,000.
No,
we were at 1,006.
Yes.
No, just wait though. And then you kept talking, and it dropped down to 987. So
oh God,
we're back under 1,000. Yeah. All right, now we're at 1,000 again.
We made it.
Roll the music, Zubie.
I love it.
Oh, this is big.
Yes, thank you, Darren Dreger. This is big.
Thank
Over
you,
a
everybody.
1,000 live viewers on the stream. And that's just here on YouTube. Never mind what might be going on over there on Twitter. Struds, this was big for you. You have been talking about this for weeks, about your desire to get us over the 1,000 mark.
I am. I don't know what it was. And I don't even know. I know what it means, but it's just, I just love how many people are enjoying this ride. You know, we're all enjoying this ride. And, you know, I know that everyone expresses it in different ways, but it's just fun to talk about a team that's growing before our eyes and what they're doing and how they're playing and the experiences they're having as a group. And then we're just kind of watching and talking about it like a bunch of buddies at a bar. Like I really enjoy this. It's been a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I want more people to enjoy it with us.
Me too, buddy. Like the amount of fun to just come home from a game and just hop on here with you guys and shoot the shit, and to have all these people joining with us here and doing this, man. It's really, really cool. And I see lots of people out there. They all talk about, so many people say, man, love the pod. Most of them say Strudy's amazing.
Not all.
A lot of people have commented lately about how much hosting you've been doing and how they almost prefer it, I would say. So, there was one comment earlier, Zubie, that it was like, when's Rishaug hopping off the pod to let Struds finish?
Well, the listeners like it. The advertisers don't, because no one understands what they're advertising.
That's okay.
We got to do it. Maybe we'll just put up graphics, closed captioning. So I apologize to all the sponsors.
We could get like a credit roll scroll of the ad read going, so people could choose to listen to you or read along.
You know, tonight, the sponsors are going to read their own ads.
That's hilarious. How many likes are we at, or loves, or whatever? It's fun. We started paying attention to this stuff. I never used to pay attention to this stuff, likes and all this. Zubie, how are we looking on the love button, or the love button?
348 on likes. That's really good.
Okay. I listen to Dusty and the guys over at EST, and they're always talking about it. And then I was told, yeah, dude, you should do the same. So I don't know. We'll start doing more of that. But anyways, we're still at over 1,000, holding strong. Love you, folks. Love you for joining us. We were talking about Stuart Skinner when we hit that 1,000 mark there, Struds. You know, I talked to him after the game. I did a one-on-one with him, by the way, that's available on tsn.ca. We'll have tons of coverage over on the website as well if you want to follow up after the pod and check out some of what we did tonight. He has prepared a long time for that moment, right? He talks a lot about mental strength and being able to like handle adversity and handle all those things. And so he finds himself with the Dallas Stars pushing and tons of offense coming at him, the building on fire. A chance to get to the Stanley Cup Final is sitting right there for him. His team kind of collapsing in front of him a little bit and letting too much happen. And he plays his best hockey, Struds. Like, he played his best hockey. He didn't have a blip. And that is so meaningful for this guy, you know, considering the journey and the bumps along the way here.
So when Campbell was signed, there was no talk of Stuart Skinner playing in the Stanley Cup Final 2 years from that date. It wasn't happening. So all of a sudden, Stu Skinner was pushed into this position, and here he is now learning on the fly. Like he was not. I shouldn't. It's unfair, but he didn't come into some of the pedigree of some of those massively high goalies that were taken early in the draft or had all these amazing experience in the World Juniors. He has learned and grown on the fly, and it's huge. You know, think about what has he been through now. Is that 6 rounds of playoffs? No, 5 rounds of playoffs, right? He's been through as the team goalie. 2 last year and 3 this year. Right?
Yeah. So he's through 5. Yep.
Yeah. So 5 heading into 6, and only his second year in the NHL. Right. That's a lot to take in. So for me, the growth is real, and every time he goes through it, he seems to figure out something. And you know, I remember listening to Grant Fuhr talk about that. You need to go through these and experience these things, and he has experienced it. So this game tonight is something he can fall back on if needed, when they're in the Stanley Cup Final.
Brownie, what's going on, buddy?
Hi, guys. Anything new? What's going on in Edmonton tonight?
There are people still honking like mad on your drive home, buddy. It was mayhem when I was driving tonight.
Hey, well, it was nuts. In Studio 99, we'd be on the show, and all of a sudden they just break out into "We Want the Cup" chants or "Let's Go Oilers." This is a happy, happy city right now. I don't know. if you saw all the people outside when Connor and Leon were being interviewed in that room.
Yeah, I was in the room.
It's unbelievable. Oh my goodness. It's when I went in, it's funny how it changes. About 6 days ago, game, what was that, 4 against the Canucks, there was fear. There was a nervous energy amongst the fans walking into Rogers. Tonight when I walked in, it was festive. It was a party atmosphere. There was an expectation they were going to win tonight. And then obviously when they won, it just exploded. It is a good day, a good night to be an Edmonton Oilers fan.
Retro Oiler 99 says, Skinner tonight reminded me of Fuhr not letting in the next goal. Kind of cool. Dwayne Rollison was in the building and Skinner shared after the game. Watched him during the Cup Final back in 2006. Rolly the goalie was one of his heroes. So he was the featured Oiler alum in the building tonight. So that was kind of cool for Skinner. Brownie, Struds and I have talked a lot about a bunch of different things so far. We want to hear your thoughts on it, but we'll do a little bit of that in the next segment in takeaways, but maybe just give us your headline thought on Skinner. And obviously we know how good he was tonight, but I made the point, Brownie, that it was reputation cleansing tonight. It was a night that cleansed Stuart Skinner's reputation about whether he could meet a big playoff moment. What do you think?
Well, I agree. I think that when you came into this series, Dallas versus Edmonton, you thought that, everyone said, okay, Dallas has better depth up front. That's going to be an advantage. It never worked out that way for Dallas. We all thought that the Oilers specialty teams was going to be better, and it was. But the big thing that everyone talked about is the Oilers were going to be in a deficit when it came to goaltending. They had Skinner, who could be good, but he was going head-to-head against Ottinger of the Dallas Stars, who's a star in this league. And the Dallas Stars are going to have a huge advantage in net. That didn't happen. Stuart Skinner was the better of the two goalies in this series. And tonight, I think Connor McDavid said it best. He said if it wasn't for Stuart Skinner, we would be on an airplane right now flying back to Dallas. So, yes, I think all the fans right now who had worries about Stuart Skinner are sleeping a little bit better tonight, knowing that Stuart Skinner, in some big moments, in the Vancouver series and in the Dallas series, in big moments, came through with fantastic games.
Yep, let's get to the Weiss Johnson Soundbox. Hear what some of the guys were saying. It's warming up. If you don't have an air conditioner yet, it's a great time to look into getting one or service your existing air conditioner before firing it up for the summer. Visit weiss-johnson.com for all your home comfort needs. Zubie, you've got a chance to redeem yourself after the Gretzky mistake before. If you bring that jingle in nice and tight right after I say it, visit weiss-johnson.com for all your home comfort needs. Jingle. Nice. Totally redeemed yourself. Perfect timing. Let's go to Connor McDavid on Stuart Skinner. Brownie, we actually have that comment from McDavid.
We're not sitting up here talking about a win if it wasn't for him. We're on a plane to Dallas if it wasn't for Stu. So, he was unbelievable. He's gone through lots. He's still such a young goalie, but he's gone through so much. I keep saying this. A lot of people doubt him. A lot of people don't say the nicest things about him, but he is an elite goaltender in this league. He really is. He showed that tonight. He showed that over the course of the year in the playoffs. He loves proving people wrong, and he certainly did that.
Local kid, Struds. Local kid, starting goalie, going to the Stanley Cup Final with the Oilers. What a story for a local kid to be doing that.
It's a great story. And, Stu seems to have the right personality to manage all this, right? Yeah. It's not easy. I can tell you as a guy who played in Edmonton, I wasn't even close to as good or important a player to Oilers as Skinner is to this team. But there's you're being drawn a lot of different directions. Not to mention he just had a baby. There's a lot of demands for your time, and he's managing it all. Plus, helping this team go deep, 4 rounds deep now in the playoffs as a second-year goalie in the NHL. It's really impressive, and he's growing right in front of Oiler fans' eyes. And Brownie, I think that is something that I commented earlier. Ken Holland talked about internal development. We're seeing it from him, Holloway, Broberg, and of course Bouchard.
Yeah, 100%. And I couldn't imagine playing in front of your home fans in a city that is as crazy about hockey as it is, in a world of social media. And not everybody, as you know, says nice things on social media. And you're playing in front of your friends, your family, and if things don't go right, as your goalie, a lot of the fingers get pointed at you. I agree with you, Struds and Schauger, that he's got the right mental makeup for this, because it would break a lot of players. And I like the fact that Dwayne Rolson was on our show tonight, and he said that during the stretch where things weren't going right for Skinner, he had reached out and they were talking. They were texting back and forth and just telling him to enjoy the ride. So it's kind of neat to be able to text a childhood hero that, hey, I need some advice. So to me, I'm a huge fan of Stuart Skinner, because the one thing that I really like about him when he talks, he's appreciative of where he's at. He appreciates the fact that he's playing in the National Hockey League. Not every player is like that. So to me, I cheer for Stuart Skinner. So I was so excited for the game that he had tonight, because he was fantastic. I'm a big believer in him, and I think he's got his teammates believe in him, and hopefully now you'll have more of the fans out there believing in Stuart Skinner as being a guy that can carry this team to the Stanley Cup championship.
Schauger, I just got to share this story. Brownie, you probably remember this. When I was playing for the Oilers and I struggled a little bit, I remember I texted you one night. You're my childhood hero, way older than I am. And I text Brownie and said, Brownie, I'm struggling right now. He's like, yeah, you're not that good.
What? No, he didn't.
What?
Sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes the truth hurts.
He's like, look, and the next day texting back, he's like, start looking for another job.
That's amazing. You know, sometimes these moments in our life, people just come through for us. Hey, Strud.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Brownie. I never did thank you for that.
Yeah.
I can't believe that wasn't
You're welcome.
Can't believe that wasn't your got your back story, Struddy.
Yeah, what a great got your backstory. Rusty Shackelford says 1.1K viewers. Time to break out the shipwreck rum. Yes, it absolutely is. Wow. That's something else. Okay, let's get to our relentless player of the night. Brought to you by UCAN Youth Services. Kyle Dubé is up there looking down right now. He is so fired up, man. This would mean the world to him. It's an Edmonton charity relentless in helping youth age 16 to 24 get out of harm's way and find employment. Visit ucan.ca to see how your donation can change lives right here in our community. Struddles?
Well, I was going to give it to the Dallas Stars shot clock operator. And then I decided, no, I'm going with Stu Skinner. Just a great game. He looked in control all the time, never looked panicky. And even, he was even bobbing his head to the music, which was great to see. And that just tells me he's loose. So Stu Skinner, well done, buddy. Relentless. And I'm sure Kyle would be all over that one.
Oh, 100%. What a performance from Stuart Skinner. My goodness. Okay, plenty ahead. We got lots more to break down what we saw, to talk about the Florida Panthers. Should Knobloch be thinking about making any adjustments? Let's talk about Chris Knobloch. So much more still ahead. So quick commercial break, and then we're going to keep pounding away here on Got Your Back.
The fastest growing male grooming company on the planet just got even better. Backscape 2.0 with a revolutionary friction fit handle makes the razor easy to pop in and out to shave not only your back, but anywhere on your body. And those hard to reach spots just got even easier with the new ergonomic design. Backscape's new titanium shave head makes for a smoother, more comfortable shave that respects your skin. Backscape 2.0. Stay smooth, gentlemen.
On paper, my life looks exciting.
In reality, not so much.
Every day it's same old, same old.
Clock in, clock out.
Then I discovered Play Alberta. I can play casino games anytime.
Bet on any game.
And buy lottery tickets anywhere in Alberta. I think my spleen is ruptured.
Let's get to our takeaways, brought to you by FG Promotions, your place for all your corporate and team merchandise, from apparel, jerseys, gifts, and golf tournament prizes. Corporate customers Even get personal discounts on golf gear for their employees. What a nice treat for the crew. Top shelf quality, amazing customer service. Visit fgpromo.ca and get 10% off your first order when you mention that Got Your Back sent you. Brownie, we haven't got your take yet on the Connor McDavid goal. Let's go back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox here quickly, though. Nice exchange between Draisaitl and McDavid. Todd, when Draisaitl was asked about the goal that McDavid scored.
Yeah, it was nice. Seen it before, but nice. Like, I mean, yeah, there's one player in the world that can make plays like that and things like that happen. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, he knows what I think of him. Yeah, I think everybody does. So I'll just leave it at that. It's just there's one player in the world that can make things like that happen.
Brownie, how about that play from McDavid, buddy?
Well, he's right. It's funny. The Oilers scored 2 power play goals. On the second power play goal, the Hyman one, it was a mistake made by the penalty killers. They got caught chasing, and Hyman got left wide open. On the first power play goal, the McDavid one, he was just talking about, Dallas Stars played it right. There was nothing wrong with what Dallas did. Just the best player in the world took it into his own hands and beat 2 guys. We've watched Connor and Leon now for so many years, and we see so many special things that they do. So it takes something big to bring you out of your seat. But when he made that move, where he pulled it inside, I mean, he walked around Heiskanen, who's one of the best defensemen in the world. He turned him inside out, and then to get it up that quickly with a backhand, Connor McDavid doesn't celebrate a lot of goals. He knows there's an expectation. But when you see him smile, when you see him posing, you know that he realizes he just did something special. And that was, if you think about the moment, the game, the situation, and then to pull that off, that's one of the best goals of one of the best goals of the year by far.
Yeah, that was definitely a special moment. Okay, who else we want hat tips for here, Struds? Who else was notable tonight? I'm thinking Philip Broberg. Did you see when they popped Cody Ceci off the penalty kill and popped Philip Broberg onto the penalty kill there? They gave him some looks on the penalty kill, like the composure, kind of a pretty good move by Chris Knobloch to bring him in and continues to pay dividends. Although people are asking, Struds, if Vinny should get back in for a bigger Florida group.
Okay, are we having that conversation then? Is that where we're transitioning?
Well, okay, you know what? Let's not do that just yet.
So you got to be careful because I've got lots to say about that.
Do you? You know what? Let's do that in our next segment, Struds. So what we're going to do is we'll let Brownie get home and then he'll pop back in on video and we'll break down the Stanley Cup Final coming up here. That'll be sort of in our next segment. Let's stay focused on this series and this game tonight.
Okay, so Broberg, this series, so I think that him getting in there is absolutely huge because, the Oilers haven't had any injuries on the back end. And now they know they have Vinny or Broberg who are usable players if they're required to play, right? And I know they can't if there's an injury. So I think that let's just say, for instance, that in one of these series, someone got hurt and they're like, oh God, we got Broberg. What do we got here? Now I think they got a better sense of what they got, especially with Troy Stetcher out, I guess, indefinitely. So I think this is huge. I think this is huge for the short term, that they know what they have, or they have a player there. But then long term, next year, they're like, okay, we see where he is, what he can be, and what he can do for us, longer term. So I think it's a huge thing.
Brownie, anyone you want a hat tip to here while we're breaking the game down still?
Well, I think a combination of Janmark and Connor Brown. 2 role players that when the game was in doubt still, late in the hockey game, 1-goal lead, those guys were on the ice. And I think that's the one thing that Chris Knobloch has done. He's put players in positions that they can, as I said before, take ownership in being part of the win, but also giving them a place where they can be successful. Okay, we're holding on to a lead. You don't need me to go score a goal. Well, that's what I'm good at, getting pucks in, getting pucks out, blocking shots. So I thought, late in the game, Brown and Janmark were on the ice at different times. I thought they were excellent.
Stuart Skinner, back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox. He saw a lot of shots in front of him getting blocked throughout this series. The Oilers did a good job. They had 25 block shots in tonight's game, which is a pretty impressive number. Dallas actually had the same number of block shots, but here's Stuart Skinner post-game on the commitment he's seeing in front of him.
The commitment to blocking shots at the right times. Guys are doing absolutely everything that we possibly can to get the puck out. Being able to grind in the corners. It truly is just the little things that the guys really focused on. And that was a huge difference. I mean, I think we were 100% this series, if I'm not mistaken. And that's, in playoffs, that's incredibly difficult to do. So hats off to the guys in front of me. Sure, I made a couple saves, but I think... I mean, you can look back on the tape for the whole series. Guys were doing everything they could to get in the lane, and that takes a lot of effort.
Boys, how about this comment from one man's sports hernia? This might be our play of the day. I'm no longer upset with Brown's bonuses. How about that one?
That's well said. You know what? Hey, and listen, awesome. There's going to be time to break down what this is all going to mean, you know, in the off season, and you know, and I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunately, but the last game of the play of that could be the 24th. Then the draft and free agency is all within a week.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's going to be a complete shit show, and I pardon for the swearing, but it is going to be the next month for Oilers fans is going to be just a complete. Just crazy. But the Brown that I think we wanted to see earlier in the year, we're seeing now. And he's exactly the kind of guy you wanted to trade for. And he is like adding another player because of the way he's playing. Same with Holloway, right? That's another guy. You had Carrick. So basically you've added 3 guys to your bottom 6, or I guess in case of Holloway, but whatever. 3 forwards to your lineup. You didn't have, you know, even 3 months ago, guys.
Yeah. Brownie, anything?
Yeah, that's it. Brown's given them the type of player that they need in the bottom 6. He's simple. Pucks out, pucks in. Gets in on the forecheck. Very good on the penalty kill. And then he had a 3-game point scoring streak as well. So the one thing, Strudge, you know as well as I do, that if you have an off regular season, as soon as the playoffs start, everything is just washed. And now you're like, okay, you know what? It was a bad regular season, but I'm going to do something special now. And I think Connor Brown has done that since the playoffs have started.
Yeah. He's been able to find a way to make a difference and get a little bit of offense along the way too, which is huge because that's part of what he was brought here for. Brownie, when you get home, just tell us and we'll let you go so you can squeeze inside. Okay, pal? So you just...
Okay, I'll be home in exactly 3 minutes.
Okay, exactly 3 minutes. On the list of people to be happy for, there are 2 who I would say would be fairly high up on the list. Matthias Eckholm getting back to the final a decade later. He knows as well as anybody how fleeting it could be. Here he is post-game.
It's so great. I mean, I'm not 24 anymore. I'm 34. So, I mean, I know hopefully I got lots of years left, but realistically, maybe not. So knowing that I've been in the league for, 11, 12 years now, and I mean, I reached the final twice. It's hard. It's a hard league. It's so competitive. It's, I remember my wife said to me before I left for the game, she said, just enjoy this too. It's one of those moments, like you don't come back here often, and just trying to make the most of it, enjoy it, and sat there, I think it was 7 minutes into the third, and the crowd was loud, and it was just, trying to enjoy the moment, but at the same time, not satisfied at all. I've been here before, and I know how much it sucks to lose a final, so not looking to do that again.
Struds, they're not here if they don't make that trade last year, hey?
Oh, no, there's not a chance. I think there's 2 guys, Hyman and Eckholm. I mean, there's just... It's their play, their contribution, their calmness, just everything, the character they bring to the room. And I know people like hearing about that, but it makes a difference, right? Just doing the right thing day in, day out, coming prepared, and just beefing up the depth of this lineup, or not depth, but I guess the quality of this lineup at the, near the top end of the food chain. So yeah, like Eckholm's been so good because like I said, it's been 2 people they've added. Both he and Bouchard's game has just taken to another level, and they now have a true number 1 pairing.
Oh yeah, that is a true, and we've talked about that for years in this town. Brown, quick thought on Eckholm, and then we'll let you get inside.
Well, he's been outstanding, and it's funny. There was a big push last year at the deadline for the Oilers to get Erik Karlsson. A member said it would be a disservice if the Oilers didn't go out and get Erik Karlsson. And you just talked about Strud's two players they added in Eckholm and Bouchard. Well, if they would have had Erik Karlsson, you might have subtracted two players because you don't have Eckholm and you wouldn't have Bouchard doing what he's doing. So give credit to Ken Holland realizing what kind of player they needed. And not only what he does on the ice, but the kind of human being they brought into their dressing room. He's a good person that fits in that dressing room really nicely. And I agree, the Edmonton Oilers are not in the Stanley Cup Finals this year if they didn't trade for Mattias Eckholm last season.
All right, Brownie, hang up. We'll get you from your office. If you can do a couple more segments with you, why not? It's a big night tonight, and I know the people want to hear more from you, pal. Also on the list of people. Okay, thanks, pal. Also on the list of people to feel good for on a night like this would be Chris Knobloch. And some thoughts from Chris Knobloch post-game on going to the big dance, where he is.
I lived here a long time ago when I was, attended the University of Alberta. And, you start to get drawn in. You feel the excitement with everyone getting revved up about the playoffs and how the team is doing. And, I became a little bit of an Oiler fan when I lived here just because of that passion around the community. And now when I'm part of the organization and I'm living it, it feels so much more. And, it's nice to see that everyone enjoyed themselves and got to see a good hockey game and going to get to watch some more hockey, which is really nice.
It's going to be awesome. Struds, it was mayhem outside the interview room tonight, man. Like they hadn't been doing that as much the first couple of rounds because the watch parties were around the corner, but it got back to mayhem tonight. It was insanity in the building. Like what electricity, my man.
Yeah. It's just the fans are enjoying this so much. They've waited for it and Leon used the term, they've suffered. He was asked about what it means to be here. And he said, we've suffered for this and we've learned, and they have, and it's part of the growing, unfortunately it's not always like Sidney Crosby win it right away. Right. So grown and they've worked hard to get this point. And I think one other guy, and not to jump over top you, I think Nugent Hopkins, he's a guy that I as I was sitting there watching my whole everyone's around and I was like, that is a guy, my wife said, I'm so happy for him. And I agree. He's never strayed from wanting to be an Oiler on this team and never bitched when there was changes and upheaval and signings and all that. He was always there and adamant he wanted to be here. And he is well outplayed his contract and a really important part of this team.
Let's get to our YouTube poll brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center, aiming to help you play better golf. With golf fitting instruction, after-sales support, and merchandise, as well as clothing, celebrating 25 years. What a great anniversary. Fantastic local shop. Check out their pro shop style atmosphere, 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. Go see Al, TJ, and Scott and the great crew down at DeBoer. Zubie, hop back in tonight, right now, buddy. What did you have in mind tonight? What'd you post?
All right, I didn't want to get into predictions from the online from the chat here. Too soon. Oh, you're Rob Brown, and this is from another day. Oh, I'm just loading up. I'm just stacking up these minuses here today. Let's get there. You're now your TSN Ryan Rishaug.
Oh, you had my name wrong.
Yeah,
that was a quick fix.
Brownie
on the fly.
was on
Nice
here.
work.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to go a little bit. I was just thinking about superstitions and traditions. So the question is, what is your favorite playoff superstition / tradition? The options are playoff beards, the handshake line, Connor wearing the same suit 3 times in a row, and the discussion about whether or not to touch the conference trophy. I'll hang on. Let me get Brownie, because we'll ask Brownie how he's feeling.
Well, you know what, Zoo? Oh yeah. We'll do that at the start of the next segment, so we won't make you do too much on the fly here. Okay. But that's our YouTube poll brought to you by DeBoer's, and we'll get to that in our Ask Us Anything segment. For right now, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Brownie will rejoin us. We'll beat this thing around a little bit more. Still lots to talk about and lots ahead.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has been delivering a high-quality golf experience to Edmonton and area. This beautiful private club, located on Highway 21 just south of Sherwood Park, occupies 160 acres and presents a challenging yet adventurous 18-hole design. A beautiful clubhouse, fully stocked pro shop, and warm, friendly staff truly make it feel like you belong to something unique and special. Visit www.belvederegcc.com. Long Shots Golf is the destination for both golf enthusiasts and sports fans. Top-of-the-line TrackMan simulators provide a highly entertaining and accurate golf experience, while a full-service sports bar loaded with big screens and scratch kitchen make it a truly unique destination. They have locations in Sherwood Park and Edmonton. Experience the best indoor golf and sports bar in town. Visit longshots.ca. That's longshots with a Z.ca.
Spring is here, and if you're thinking of buying a new home during the housing market hot period, contacting a mortgage broker should be your first step. Maria Gallus with Maximo Mortgages can guide you with a stress-free experience. With access to dozens of different lenders, Maria's simplistic approach and expert advice will have you ready to put an offer in on your dream home. Take the stress out of your mortgage journey. Contact Maria Gallus at mortgagesbymaria.ca. That's mortgagesbymaria.ca.
We're back.
All right.
Sorry, that was abrupt.
No, that's okay, buddy. No theme music when we came back.
I was on the other panel. Here it is. There we
There you go. Thanks, buddy. If anybody knew just how many curveballs I've already thrown you tonight, they would know you're working magic back there, pal.
I might want to take over the TikTok feed and do a little, have some behind the scenes stuff going on.
Well, let's not get crazy. Okay, we're going to shift up the order a little bit. Time to take a lap, brought to you by Backscape, the fastest growing male grooming company on the planet, and it's even better now with their Backscape 2.0. The friction fit handle lets you effortlessly snap the shaver in and out to touch up the rest of your body. Backscape.com is the website. Use the promo code GYB10 for 10% off your first order of the advanced or deluxe 2.0 kits. That's bakscape.com. Stay smooth, gentlemen. And guys, for tonight's Taking a Lap, we're not going anywhere. We're taking a home lap. We're going to keep talking about the Edmonton Oilers and the upcoming Stanley Cup Final and what we just saw. Okay, let's set our sights a little bit on the Cup Final here, guys, and maybe keeping it with the Oilers in terms of potential changes. Struds, you said you had some thoughts. I posed a question. Does Vinny Darnay get another look here at some point, because it'll be physically a bit of a different series for them? So, what does your gut tell you about Knobloch's approach heading into this next round?
We've seen the last two rounds that it takes him about 3, maybe 4 games to figure out the best lineup to challenge the team they're playing. Like we saw, that it was a stroke of genius to put Perry in and McLeod beside the big guy, Leon. Yeah, Leon. Then we saw the third line, all that stuff. So, Vancouver, they started with or got the second game with the big guys together, and they broke that up and found the right line combinations. Now, I believe that this is going to be a pretty heavy series. They play physical. It's going to be more like Vancouver than it was against Dallas. So I wonder if they don't go to a lineup that looks a little bit more like what we saw against Vancouver. So that would include Vinny Darnay. That would include, does Fogle come in? Does Sam Carrick come in? Because those guys play a heavier style of game than what the people that are currently in the lineup are, Brownie.
You're right. Vancouver was a physical series, but it was mainly physical on the back end. Florida's physical all over the ice. They got forwards that hammer. A Benedict, a Chuck. They're a big, heavy team. I do believe you will see all of the players you mentioned at some point in this series. I think that this is he's using the press box as just a longer bench. All right, we got those guys up there. We're going to get him in, whether it's game 2, game 3.
Yeah.
They will be in the lineup. I think that you may see one move maybe in game 1. I think maybe Derek Ryan would be the only one put Carrick in instead of him. But then I think they'll see what happens in game 1 and go from there. I don't know if you want to do a whole lot of change, because, they just knocked off the Dallas Stars. Having said any of that, Chris Knobloch seems to be unconventional, and everything that we guess he does the opposite. So I do whatever he does, I'm going to agree with it. So if he decides he's going to bring some guy up from Bakersfield that's never played an NHL game and put him in, I'm all for it because Knobloch right now has got the magic touch.
Yeah, no question. So I wonder if that Draisaitl line is going to stand the test of the Stanley Cup Final. I wonder if there isn't an adjustment there.
Do you go
I
back?
don't know. I didn't what's
do you
that?
go back to? Do you go back to Fogel, McLeod, and Leon? They had success
maybe.
during the season.
What I would say is I didn't love McLeod there tonight in particular.
Yeah.
I wonder, Struds, if maybe there isn't an adjustment there. I don't know if it's Holloway. We'll see about the health of Evander Kane. Maybe Kane gets back up onto the second line next to Draisaitl if he's healthy. Maybe you go back to the Kane, Draisaitl, Holloway line potentially, which is a big, strong line that would be difficult to play against. Maybe that's a nice remedy for the way the Florida Panthers play. There were just parts of McLeod's game tonight where I thought he took a step back in some areas of his game. And I just wonder if they're going to want to keep him in that spot, Struddy.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be the guy that you could move around a bit. Love his speed, but it doesn't always of all the forwards, he feels like he's the one that sometimes makes some tough choices with the puck. So what I would say, I kind of go back to my original statement. I think you'll see lines more like what they saw him in Vancouver, with a little bit heavier group of players. So you got to keep in mind, just for those who don't know, there's a line in Florida with Rodriguez, Bennett, and Tkachuk. Heavy, hard playing line. And I would love to see Leon, Kane, and Holiday roll out against those guys like that. Not as an older fan or whatever. I just want to see those two lines play against each other for 7 games. Like that would be amazing, Brownie.
It would be, because then you're going to see Barkov going head to head with Connor McDavid. I don't know. It's funny. We had John Shannon on Ched on the show tonight, and I talked about, I think Barkov is one of the best, if not the best, all-around player in the NHL. He is an incredible hockey player, but a little still unknown. And he says if he played in New York or Chicago or Boston, we'd be talking about him like we did about Patrice Bergeron. In Florida, he's a little bit hidden. But I think we are in the next 2 to 3 weeks going to see how good Barkov is. He is all world, and that is going to be a test for Connor McDavid going against Barkov. And then they got the guy that scored 57 goals or whatever on his wing. So these are 2 really good hockey teams going at it. And I wonder if we will see more line matching in this round as opposed to what we saw against the Dallas Stars, where Dallas didn't have the superstar lineup. They were just fairly equal. But I think you may see a little more coaching when it comes to line matching against the Florida Panthers.
Sam Bennett will be interesting in a Stanley Cup Final too here. Like I like this player at playoff time.
Mm-hmm.
He plays fast. He could be a devastating hitter too, Struds. And the Florida Panthers can bring a different level of grit, different level of grind, physical play, especially with their forwards. I think the Oilers are going to be tested and uncomfortable in a different way in this Stanley Cup Final. I mean, the temperature is going to go up because it's a Stanley Cup Final, and Florida is very comfortable functioning in that kind of a game.
Well, they've been through it. We've seen, like, if you haven't watched them play, every single one of them block shots, hits. Even Vladimir Tarasenko is doing everything they can. So there's no off shifts here. You got to come every single shift and bring your best effort all the time. But I think the Oilers have learned that. I think they're understanding how hard they have to play. Now, tonight probably wasn't the truest reflection of that. And you're going to need nights where your goalie gets it done for you. But I think game 4 and 5 was the one I think that they really got it from. So when I look at this Florida team, they have the grit that Vancouver played with. They have pretty good skill, not crazy skill. I don't think their skill is as high as Dallas, but they have some skill of that. Then I think they're pretty well coached, like we saw with all these teams, including the Kings. So it's kind of like a hybrid of all those teams, and the Oilers have kind of had different matchups that are going. The goaltending, is he better than Ottinger? He being Bobrovsky. Yeah. So they've dealt with some pretty decent goalies, not so much in the first round, or I guess the second round was pretty, so really one. So they've had some test brownies. So I think it isn't like they're just going up against taking a massive step up. They've seen it. It's just, can the Oilers play at that level for the required 4 wins?
Well, I agree with a couple things. I disagree with one. I do believe this is a more skilled team than Dallas. You got a guy that scored 57 goals or whatever Reinhardt had.
Yeah,
you got
Reinhardt.
Barkov that's won the Selke. He's the best all-around player in the league. You got Kachuk, who's a year and a half or 2 years away from having a 100-point season. So I do believe they're higher skilled than the Dallas Stars. The one thing that you're going to see from Florida that I think Dallas got away from, LA got away from, and at times Vancouver, Florida forechecks. And I don't think they're feared. They fear the Oilers like Dallas did or LA or Vancouver, where they just threw pucks in and just waited in the neutral zone. When Dallas got behind, they forechecked and they had success. Florida is going to bring that every shift. They're going to force the Oilers' mistakes to happen in the Oilers' zone. So I think the Oilers' defensemen are going to be under pressure, under siege for large stretches of this series. The one thing, and I know that, Shogger, you talked about how Florida Panthers are comfortable when the Heat gets up, that kind of game. They like the meanness. The one thing that they have not faced the Florida Panthers is a power play that the Oilers have. So it's one thing to be mean and nasty, but if you start taking silly penalties and find yourself giving up power play goal in the first period or in the first 5 minutes, that slowly starts to take away some of your aggressiveness. Because right now, the way the Oilers power play has looked the last couple of games, there's got to be a little bit of fear for the Florida Panthers for doing anything silly and putting that 5-man unit on the ice.
We're going to learn something here, Struds, about Knobloch too, because you could make the argument that the lineup that beat the Dallas Stars here this last 2 games is not the right lineup to put on the ice against the Florida Panthers in game number 1. So do you take a group that just came up huge in a couple of, line configurations that came up big, and do you restructure that based on your opposition as opposed to, how aggressive will Knobloch be in restructuring things for the next opponent versus sticking with things that, although I don't know, you can't say they worked tonight. It didn't work at even strength tonight, man. This was so lopsided. So are you expecting him to make tactical changes with the line, Struds, based on the opposition?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe after the first round, the second round, he kept the team basically the same.
Mm-hmm.
Now he did one. I don't think it was anything major. So I think we will see a similar lineup, although I'm not sure which one you made the comment about the second line. I think that line will get tweaked.
Yeah. Like he can't wait 2-3 games in a Stanley Cup final to find the right configuration. You might need to try and find it going in, Brownie.
I agree.
But hold on. It's not that you can't wait. It's that you're trying to figure it out on the fly.
Right.
He doesn't know. It's not like he's going to be like, oh, okay, now I'm going to put the best line forward, right? Like,
no, but the point is, Struds, is that just continuing on with what worked from Dallas might not be the answer, right? You might want to get ahead of it and try and that's kind of what he did before.
I don't think he has the answer, right? He didn't have the answer in those other series either.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the challenge. So you don't know what they're right. And I think it takes him a little bit of time. So you hope you get the split in Florida and you say, okay, well, this is what we have to do.
But the advantage he has right now, my memory's not great. In game 5, the game in Dallas, what was the final score? 3-1?
Yes.
2 power play goals by Nuge.
So.
Was the third goal the shorthanded one? Did they have a 5-on-4?
That was game 4, wasn't it? Where
the shorty was the previous, I think.
Okay, so they had in the 3-1 game they scored 2 power play goals, and in game 6 they scored 2 power play goals.
Yeah.
So 5-on-5, as much as the Oilers won the last 2 games, 5-on-5 they weren't creating any offense.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty easy as a coaching staff if you want to say, all right, here's the new team, let's put in a different lineup, because tonight the Oilers were not the better team. They had the better goalie, they had the better power play, but they weren't the better team in this game. So it's real easy to make changes now if you're Chris Knobloch. So I do believe you look at the lineup that Florida has and you see, okay, I mean, you're going to have the advantage now of looking at how many games Florida's played, probably 17, 18, 20 so far.
Yeah.
There's a lot of film you can go over and said, okay, what has worked against Florida? What hasn't worked against Florida? Okay, how can we combat that? And I do believe, as you said, Shogger, the Oilers need a better second line to be able to compete against Florida, because Florida's top 2 lines are very good. You cannot get away with just Leon and a couple guys and hope he gets them going. You need quality minutes out of your second line if you're going to play against the Florida Panthers and hope to beat them.
100%. Great point, Brownie. All right, time now for Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Their world-famous jerky located right here in Alberta. Using prime Alberta beef, it's available in 14 tantalizing flavors, including the famous sweet and spicy. Family owned and operated since 1962. Great game day snack can be shipped to you anywhere in Alberta. Great fundraising package for sports teams and schools as well. Keep an eye on their website at albertajerky.com. They'll have new specials coming this month as well soon. Brownie, take us through your points, bud.
Well, I'm going to go with 13 plus 28. That equals 41 Brownie points for the role players of the Edmonton Oilers. I thought Chris Knobloch is using his bench the proper way. He's got guys being put in a position to have success. You have guys that will do whatever it takes, block a shot, poke pucks out, get pucks in, whatever it takes to get it done at the end of the game in defensive situations. The role players stepped up and did that. I've got 97 Brownie points for an all-world goal by the greatest player in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
That goal, you guys were in the rink. Were you in the rink tonight, Struds? No, Shogger, how loud was it when Connor McDavid scored that goal? It was unbelievable in there. And I said before the game, if you score early on the power play, it'll feel like 3 goals to the Dallas Stars because that's how excited it was in there. So 97 for number 97. I've got 100 Brownie points for the Oilers specialty teams. They were number 1 in the playoffs on the power play. They are number 1 in the playoffs on the penalty kill. The reason the Edmonton Oilers are going to the Stanley Cup Finals, their specialty teams are better than anyone else in the league. 61 Brownie points to Ken Holland. That's 61 wins I believe the Oilers have on the season right now. When the season was going sideways in November, there was a lot of talk that the Oilers needed a big trade. They needed to get a new goalie. There was our phone was ringing at Ched. They got to fire the GM. Well, Ken Holland just stayed put. He knew what he had. He knew what he had in the minors. He knew what he had in Stuart Skinner. And then he went out and found a coach that knew how to motivate a team and calm down a team. So Ken Holland gets 61 Brownie points. And the last one I have 1,000 Brownie points.
Again?
To the Got Your Back podcast, who I believe tonight has over 1,000 viewers watching us right now. So congratulations to you guys and your Got Your Back podcast. You get 1,000. That's 700 to you, Struds, and 300 to Shogger.
Yes, thank you.
It's a big night. Big night for a couple of reasons, Brownie. We hit 1,000. By the way, it's our podcast. You were part of it, my friend.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
You know, we have a title page made with your name on it too. We just haven't bothered putting it up yet, but we actually do. It says Brown, Rishaug, and Strudwick. Struddy, you're last. Ouch. But also, buddy, because you remembered the name of the show. That's the first time you've actually said the show name. Hey, Struds, you notice that?
I did notice it. Yeah.
Well, I was waiting until we got to 1,000. I wasn't just going I wasn't sure how this thing was going to go. So apparently it's going pretty good. So I got the tattoo on my butt too. It says "Got Your Back."
Gonna need a screenshot of that one.
Yeah, we should maybe just qualify or quantify, just state for the fact that this is 1,000 live viewers on YouTube only. We're of course our total numbers are for the last episode over like 24,000 between several platforms. Crazy. So it's super cool to have this many on the live stream.
Yeah, been loving all the people that are taking part. All right, Brownie, that's going to wrap you tonight, my friend. We'll figure out what we're doing here in the next couple of days, and I'll get in touch with you and let you know. But we got a Stanley Cup Final to prep for, pal.
This is pretty cool. It is a fun time to be an Edmonton Oilers fan. So, hey, let's enjoy the ride.
I'll leave you with this, Brownie. Obelisk 21 says, it's crazy to think that this podcast has 2 NHL players that had very long careers and Shoggy. So thanks, Obelisk. Talk to you soon, Brownie. Quick break. We'll be right back.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
All right, let's do Strudy World, brought to you by Shipwreck Rum. The Brindley family's been handcrafting their rum on the Caribbean island of St. Kitts for decades now. The Shipwreck Vanilla, blended with natural Madagascar vanilla, which gives it its incredible smoothness. Take one sip and you will agree it's a vacation in a bottle. Get Shipwrecked, Oiler fans, but do so responsibly. Available at your local liquor retailer. Struddy.
It's been so much fun just enjoying this ride with the Oilers and seeing the year and how it went. And so tonight we had, at my house, we hosted my sister and her family, my parents, and obviously my family was there. And we were all kind of watching it together. And I remember growing up, we didn't have tons of things that we had, a few, we'd all watch the game together. I just remember enjoying it so much. And so to get that experience of sharing it, my phone was just blowing up, although I was trying to stay off it. I wasn't really looking at it. But everyone I know that is an Oiler fan is just enjoying this ride. And I would suggest just enjoy it. Yeah, there's things that have to be decided at the end of the season and it'll be coming up quick. But you want to just think about enjoying this, cheering the guys on, seeing what they're doing and enjoying this ride for Edmonton. It's a great time to be here. And I said it earlier, I love sharing this ride with all the listeners that tune in, and whether you're live or downloading it the next day. But these are really fun times. And I've been lucky enough, to be in Edmonton for the 80s, and I was here for 2006. I'm not going to say I really love that one, but I was on White Ave having a good time. And then this one. So it's 3 times I've been able to do it over my life. And each one is unique and special. So enjoy the ride. Just enjoy it, cheer, and be good about it. And try to get together with your buddies because it is really fun. It's a fun time to be a sports fan.
Great Strudy's World tonight, buddy. But all anybody wants to know, you lost everybody. As soon as you said that you watched with family and friends tonight, everybody immediately wanted to know, did you get interrupted? Were people trying to talk to you? Were people chirping in your ear? And for anybody who missed an all-timer of a Strudy's World after game 5, where he went on an old man rant like you would not believe about people bugging him while he was trying to watch hockey. So how was the experience with a house full tonight, Kyle?
Yeah, so I've had so many people stop me and talk to me about that. And they're like, I agree with you. I couldn't agree with you a bit more about what you're saying.
You
And
tapped into something. You
I
really
stand
did.
by it. And that's for any sport, any interaction. I should have also included movies or TV shows when someone jumps in on the side. But tonight was very respectful. I think that I think my parents and my sister and her family all know kind of how we operate. You enjoy the game. You can talk, but don't get into something outside the game when you're watching the game. Very important.
Very important. So you were good tonight then. It was all good.
Yeah, no
Everybody kept
issues
it between the lines tonight. You didn't have to yell or bark or
didn't have to yard anyone out of the house. Everything was positive. Very positive.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun ride, buddy. I love that Strudy's World. Some nice perspective heading into the first Stanley Cup Final for this fan base since 2006. I was a much younger reporter with TSN then and had a blast covering that series. I'm looking forward to doing this with Dave Parker, our ace cameraman, who's a local guy. I know he's looking forward to it too. So it's going to be an enjoyable thing. Be heading to Florida here in a couple of days, but I think the team will take at least a day, if not 2 off, maybe some practices before they go. And then we will head down to Florida to get coverage rolling. Now, I don't know if this is the Ian Hannamansing. Zubie, did you see that? But there is an Ian Hannamansing in the chat that says, longtime podcast listener, first time on the live feed. Fantastic. If it's not the real Ian Hannamansing, famed CBC news anchor, then good on you for that handle.
He says it is.
He says it is.
Of course, that's what someone pretending to be him would say, but I believe that it's him.
Yeah, this guy's a legit journalist, man. He is 100% legit. And actually, when I was going back in the day when I was going to broadcast school, he was always one of my favorite broadcasters. I always thought he did a phenomenal job on the news beat. Was a great anchor. So if that is you, Ian Hannamansing, thanks for tuning in here to Got Your Back. Honor to have you. And I guess maybe a sort of a quiet Oiler fan there, Struddy. Maybe Ian is
closet Oilers
fan. Nice.
Ian, do not report what I said about Gretz. Okay, keep that under your hat.
Bad scoop.
I was wrong.
Yeah. Okay, Zubie, do we have any more breaks, or are we done our breaks?
Oh, we're done.
We're done our breaks. Okay, let's get to the final segment of the show. Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Match Eatery and Public House. Need a spot to hang before the big game or the concerts? Match Club's about as close as you can get, right? In the Grand Villa Casino. The lively sports bar makes the perfect place to gather, enjoy perfected pub bites, some ice cold beers, cocktails. For more information, check out matchpub.com. We're still at over 1,000 on the stream so far tonight. Zubie live. What are the people saying? Somebody really wants a scarf. What is Chris Rombo's on about right now?
Let's get to
scarf.
Ian Hannah-Mansing, first of all, let's put the button on that. He wants some brownie points. Now we can't, we each have a balance. We each have a balance, but those are non-transferable. So we have to get Brownie on here.
That's a little aggressive.
No, Ian, that's Ian.
Those have to be earned.
Yeah, we do not have the power. We do not have the power to hand those out, bud.
Okay, and Rombo, stop. I won't ban you because I know you're a good guy, but stop spamming the chat. But let's do this though too. He wants to see the scarf you're knitting, Struddy. So we know we've got 4 to 7 more, however many more pods coming up here in June now. Can we promise the over 1,000 live audience will see the scarf?
Yeah.
Yes.
The next one I'll bring it out. It's not quite finished. It's slow down, but I'll bring it out.
Will you knit on air? Will you knit a few loops for us on air?
It's like knitting porn, no problem. But yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Zubie, let's update the DeBoer's YouTube poll. Where'd we end up?
Yes, the poll very close on this was nearly 800 votes. So the question was, what's your favorite playoff superstition tradition? Playoff beards, the handshake line, Connor wearing the same suit 3 times in a row, or whether or not to touch the trophy. You guys want to weigh in quick before I give the results?
The beard. I love the beards. I'm so proud of the Oilers for you having the beards. It's old school.
I love the handshake line. The handshake line for me is something to see those guys do battle the way they do, and then to get in the line and I love the dynamics. Guys who were just absolutely at war for an entire series, to see them take a second and talk it over, and I love the handshake line big time.
The handshake line is classic. I'm all about Connor with this suit because they have their superstitions in the dressing room, but this is one he can't hide. They got the walk-ins so I find it very interesting because that's such a. There's no hiding that one. So I'm a little bit surprised actually that Connor's done it. So I think that's kind of cool. Anyway, here's the results. The handshake line won. It was very close. We had nearly 800 votes. Handshake line got 30%. Playoff beards got 29%. Connor wearing the same suit, 24%. And whether or not to touch the trophy came in at 16%. So very, very widespread. Thank you to everyone for contributing.
He can't keep wearing the suit, can he? I mean, at a certain point, it becomes a hygiene issue, doesn't it?
I think what you do is you go to a different suit, and then if you feel like you need the superhero cape, you put that suit back on.
But if he goes to a different one and they lose game 1, and then he goes back to the suit and they win game 2, I mean, you got to come back with it for 3. And if you it
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it smells like. You just drop it on. Doesn't matter. It just who cares?
It doesn't matter what it smells like. Okay.
So we'll do a couple quick ones here. We're late and everyone was in a happy mood. It wasn't so many questions. It was lots of good comments and stuff. So we'll just touch on a couple. But there, Bonvi said Stuart Skinner has been fire since his reset. Obelisk 21 on that same topic says everyone talks about Skinner's reset, but that only happens because the coaches had confidence in putting Calvin Pickard in, and he delivered 2 quality starts. How do you feel about the coaching situation overall, how they've handled the goaltending, and what you think about, where does Stuart Skinner on this reset rank in playoff lore of it's kind of unheard of, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty impressive, Struds, for him to lose the net, get it back, and then play that well.
Yeah, it's just the mental strength to overcome what he's those moments, and never just figuring it out and just going on and growing. And tonight was arguably the best game he's ever played. In the biggest moment. I just can't imagine a bigger game, especially when the way the ice was tilted. So huge for him, and the right touch from his coach. And like I said, I would have played the other goalie in Game 6 last series. I was proven wrong, and now he's been rewarded. He being Knobloch because of that choice last series in Game 6. So look what you're getting now in Game 6 of this third round.
Mm-hmm.
Also on Skinner, this I guess originally came from Chris R. Sort of a sidebar, but he said Does this solidify Stu Skinner as a number one for upcoming international events, or does it at least put him in the game, put him in the top 3 on the list if you were making those teams?
Well, there's no clear cut number one right now. I think so. He just keeps making a case for himself.
Oh yeah. He's in the conversation big time now. I mean, let's
and that's
see what
really
happens here, but
so what you look at it a year and a half ago, I don't think he was on anyone's radar for this. Now he keeps putting himself in the conversation, and that's really all you can do. So let's see, what happens, the rest of the season. And not that I think a win or losing to solidify, but show what he does. And then again next year, and just keep growing. And he's growing in front of our eyes, which I think is so great for the Oilers to find this goalie or to draft him and develop him himself.
Penner's Pancakes pointed out long embrace with Perry and Ben and with Pavelski tonight. We kind of know a little bit about what gets said in there, and obviously Perry just a couple of years removed from going to the final with those guys on that team. What are they saying in there, Struz? They say go get it?
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, I'm guessing, but I think when you look at it, winning with someone or going deep in a playoff with someone, you're forever together. Like, and not to compare the NHL to my junior days, but we won 2 Memorial Cups, and those guys are still all my best friends. I don't talk every day, but when I see them, it's like we just saw each other, yesterday. So there is a deep bond that's created. So, I'm sure that they're either, Perry's very happy his team won, but there is a sadness for someone you just went to battle with a few years ago. So yeah, I'm guessing it said, hey, get it for us. If we can't win it, we want you to win it type of thing. And, then Pavelski, people are talking about maybe that was his last game. Which could be, I don't know him, but so yeah, so it's just hard. You never know. You never get getting this deep, and no guarantee you get back there again. So I think they probably pushed him towards it.
Mm-hmm. Pork Leaker, great name, says PK was +1 in this series. Have you ever heard about that? In a 6-game series, the crazy. PK coming out +1.
It's crazy. And it was huge. It was huge. And the PK, we didn't really touch on tonight. It was good tonight. It was really good and aggressive. And Henrique, I don't want to keep bringing this bell, guys, but he's so important for this team. I think we now see what the team was missing when he was out with those ankle issue. What was that? Late in LA, then, they're blending in a bit. And the Canucks, he's an important part of this team. He's a very smart, capable player.
2 more Zooms.
Okay, 2. Yeah, perfect. Soup Yahtzee, another great name, says, has Paul Coffey done any interviews? His look in the team picture was priceless. Have you guys seen him right off to the side there? Is Coffey just of the mentality, we haven't won anything yet?
Right away. I loved it. I loved he was just standing there like, we actually do a picture for this? Like, if I could caption it, he's like, is this it's not the Stanley Cup, right? Like, I love that by him. And Coffey, I know him a little bit. He's going to talk about that, say, boys, yeah, we didn't do anything. Like, let's just keep going. Like, he's very matter of fact and very, just deliberate and straightforward with what he says. So I love that he's there, because that's what he's going to be telling them. Yep, great. Okay, congrats. Who cares? We're not even close to being done yet.
Cool customer, man. Cool customer.
Love it.
Okay, here's the last. This is a comment. Very good from Chris Formasano. He says he's predicting your travel schedule here, Shogger. He says, flight to the Peg, hitchhiking to Minneapolis, steamboat down Mississippi to the Gulf, and Shoggy's in Florida. Easy peasy. Is that about what you got on deck for?
Yeah, sounds about right. There's actually whispers, just a little bit to pull the curtain back. Because there's such a long distance between Edmonton and Florida, in years like this, and they did this back in 2006, the NHL sometimes will get a charter together. So they'll get a huge plane, and all the media, well, at least as many as they can fit, will hop on that charter. So we are hearing some rumblings and some whispers, Struddy, that cool. On our way back from Florida, there might be a charter with all the media on it. So fingers definitely crossed on that one, buddy, because trying to get there domestic is a nightmare. And I'm not going to lie to you, Struds, the knee is acting up a little here tonight. So I got a couple of days to get it sorted out before we travel, because it's starting to bug me a little. I got to call Tyler Fix.
Well, I can't remember where I heard it, but they said this is the biggest distance between 2 cities for the Stanley Cup Final ever. And then my question, do you think the Oilers would leave Wednesday?
No, I believe they'll probably leave Thursday. So media day is always the day before game 1. Game 1 is Saturday. That means media day will be Friday. My guess is the Oilers take tomorrow if not Tuesday as well off, and skate Wednesday, travel Thursday, and then skate and media day Friday, optional, and then game day Saturday. That would be my guess. I don't know if they'll give them 1 or 2 days off. How do you feel about 2 days off potentially?
I think they've earned it. I mean, you got to rest the guys. The reason I was thinking Wednesday is that just the time change, right? It's 2 hours time change. And I get it. I know, but you fly there. It's a long flight. Like that day is a write-off. So that way you get there Thursday, you have maybe a bit of a hard practice, a light skate Friday, optional Saturday, then play Saturday.
Yeah. This might be the longest show we've ever done, buddy. We're at 84 minutes, but still over 1,000 strong. So yeah, rocking and rolling. Time to close.
Oh, sorry. Hang on. Did you see Rye Guy chime in there? He calls it the meat plane.
The meat plane.
There you go.
I thought
that's not bad. That's pretty good. Yeah, I wasn't bothered by that whole thing. Time now for our play of the day, brought to you by Play Alberta. Playoffs are wild, right? We know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even crazier. Use the promo code GYB50. That gets you $50 in free sports bets with your next deposits. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boosts on every Oiler playoff game. And when you bet on Oiler games, got a chance to even win exclusive suite tickets as well. Bonus terms and conditions apply. And as always, please play responsibly. Strudy, what do you have in mind tonight, buddy?
Connor McDavid's goal. I mean, that's playoff folklore, right? Like that is going to be a story that Oilers fans talk about. Everyone is in the building. There was 10,000 or 100,000 people there tonight watching that goal go in. So it was an incredible goal. The timing, who was it against, the moment, huge. So easy pick. That's the easiest one I've ever done.
Yeah. I don't know. The whole I'm not mad at Connor Brown's bonuses anymore, I thought was pretty funny.
That is a good one.
That was a good laugh. All right. That's going to wrap this thing up. Zubie, good job. You totally redeemed yourself tonight, buddy.
Totally.
Huge bounce back from you. Hey, Struds?
Totes, big pushback. Well done.
I feel like I've been technically strong, which is, I think, my first priority. So
yeah, exactly. Never mind being factual. We love you, buddy. Okay. Ray and Dregs. We're going to be dropping a Ray and Dregs pod here in the next couple of days as well. So keep an eye out for that. And thanks for joining us tonight on the live stream. Great audience on YouTube and on Twitter. If you're somebody who listens the next day via download, an audio podcast, thank you so much. Revel in it, Oiler fans. This is going to be a fun ride. Look forward to talking tons more in the week ahead as we prep for the Stanley Cup Final. Have a great night. Big thanks to our title sponsor, Sherwood Buick GMC. Over 1,000, boys. We did it. See ya.
Love it.
Oh, this is